Sorry, folks, we had to go down to executive session to discuss some legal issues, but we're now back. We're gonna be in our work session for a few minutes, and then we're gonna start the public hearing. First bit of housekeeping is the meeting minutes from June 26th. Does anybody have any questions or comments? There was a comment made that Dan Russo was listed as present at the last meeting. Dan was not, he was absent. Cindy, you'll make that correction. Okay, any other questions or comments about the minutes of 6/26? That being said, I make a motion to accept the minutes as amended. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Dan, you good? Yep. So Cindy, we're all good? 4, Cindy. Oh, Dan can't vote, right, he's right. That's right, he can't do it. Yeah, that's right. We have 3 applications on the agenda tonight. This one being 100 Roosevelt. This one is the installation of a pool to corner lot, so therefore we have the usual double front lots. So we'll have to, there's a number of variances issued here, so we're gonna have to walk through each of them. I believe there's
9.
Hey, Dan, you, come here for a second. On the agenda, we have 8 variances, but I thought there were 9 variances. Yeah, absolutely, sure. Go ahead.
So, there were 8 requested as part of the application,
Right.
but while we were reviewing it, we did notice an additional variance that was required for one of the fences, I believe, on the eastern side.
So the question I actually have then is, was this advertised properly with 9 variances? Because you have only 8 on the agenda.
Yes, it was for 8 variances. The request was also for 8 variances. The 9th was noticed during the review of it.
Okay.
Yes, yeah.
So, and it's,
I mean, I don't think that's a significant enough change, but
Okay.
impacts the proper notice.
that's fine with me?
That's okay.
That's what I wanted to hear. Thank you. All right, so it was advertised with
The one that you added is the front reference as variance number 9, front yard fence height.
Yes, yeah, that was so because you'll notice that that same fencing comes up twice.
That's what I was just gonna say.
Yeah, so it's the same fence,
already-
but one's about from the pool code, and the other one's from the actual fence code, and they both apply to the property because it's a residential property.
Right. Okay.
We do have the most recent survey on this. This was asked and
Yes, yeah. So I believe there's one with the 6-foot setback from the house. Shows a pool 6 feet from the house and 13 feet from the side yard. That's the one that's most recent, and that was submitted. Yeah, if we can. Should have been in the. What do you want to
Yeah.
Sure, whatever you
the-
got.
Yeah.
Have any questions I'd like to discuss? I know we're running late tonight, so we can leave this. It is up there right now.
Here as well.
Sure. So this is 6 feet. 10 to 50.
I know.
Dan, where is the 3-foot?
One second.
From the Winslow here says roughly 3 feet. Where is that? Oh, okay.
6 feet here, it goes, and it switches
And
to
the
3 feet
Right, must
here.
have- Okay, good.
This is a PVC and this is a chain link.
Um, Are there any significant questions on this application? One? Right.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Well, if it's stuff we're gonna resolve during the hearing, that's it.
Let's wait to hear what they say and then you can ask more questions.
Because I know where you're going, yeah.
Okay.
Put that in there.
Alright.
Second application tonight is 124 Main Street. Again, one with variances. sale. Heard through the rumor mill that there possibly could be POs for these, if that's the case, there's issues for it.
Where is the,
But I
yeah,
don't
where,
know whether they got POs, but
C one subject,
questions?
there's two undersized retail tenant spaces, and one undersized apartment, regulate two undersized units.
Tony or Dan, do you have any?
I would see here,
None
two
yet.
existing commercial tenant spaces, one apartment,
Did you read the recommendations of staff? Nothing out of the ordinary pops up. The last application, which is favorite application, 415, 417.
Yep.
Looks like we're down to one variance. This is a closed hearing. Here the changes discovered. Is there any questions or comments anyone needs to put up?
No.
Tony,
so there's now one variance.
one variance where we started with three.
And that's to, what, just a
The bar.
bar of 2.2 and
Yeah.
2 is required?
Right, that's the floor area.
It's no longer
And that floor area ratio refers to,
enclosing of a staircase.
right, that's to meet the fire code.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other two, one was fronting on East Main Street, but this is a mixed use, not,
It no longer applies.
right.
Mm-hmm.
And so the other two that were with this have now gone away.
No longer required.
And then there's a comment here that there was a CO issued for the door opening between the buildings, which takes away out the violation issue.
Right,
which was
that's this one, right?
Yeah.
I'm just reading.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, permit.
Which was just issued because they had taken the permit and never closed it out.
Right.
Because it was two separate structures
Mhm.
and they
Well, the
merged.
CO was issued in 1984.
The properties were, yeah, so at that time, the properties were not merged yet.
Right.
Okay.
They're still not, and they're gonna work for that going forward.
But that's what they want to do, right?
Yes.
Yes.
But
And
but that
So-
takes care of the whole conditioning that we had an issue, we were talking about
Mhm.
possible conditioning.
Well, it was came down to the for the FAR, because were they going for
Right,
one building or is
Or
this
two.
two separate? And the
right.
calculations were drastically different.
yes, 100%.
So if we approve this, they could potentially come back to us for other things down the road, or
Well, if the planning department, if they change, it depends what the planning department, right now, as it stands right now,
they can't do that, that's,
they're just coming in for a mixed-use building as is. Right now, the fire marshal can't do it, said if you want to meet, or maybe Tom does, but to meet the fire code, you have to place that back stair, which is overflow
Mhm.
off, but that's really unanimous.
That's a good one too, yeah.
That being said, do anyone have any questions or did anyone read the staff report on this? Or-
Yeah.
or Dan, did you go on the staff report?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good. Yep. Okay,
Questions or comments? If not, recommend that we put on the dais and
we going in order of the agenda?
follow the
Yeah.
agenda.
Taking our bikes with us, huh?
agenda. A number of people there. If you'd like to come up and speak during any of the applications, I'm going to ask you to come forward. I'm going to ask you to face Jennifer. She's going to swear you in. You raise your right hand. She'll swear you in, and then you'll address the board. I would ask you not to address your neighbors. I would ask you not to pull out from the audience. We'll be happy to hear any questions or comments you have, and we'll be more than happy to. If we can resolve your issue, we'll try to resolve it as we go along. That being said, I just want to say welcome to the July 24th, 2025 Zoning Board of Appeals hearing for the Village of Port Jefferson. We have 3 applications on the agenda. Is everybody ready? Seeing everybody's bright shining face, I'm going to go ahead and read the first application. The first application this evening is going to be 100 Roosevelt Avenue. It's appeal number ZB-0012-24. Suffolk County Tax Map number 0206-15-5-23. Zoning is RB2 residential. Location is the southwest corner of Old Post Road at Old Post and Roosevelt Avenue. Owner is Stanley J. Classett Jr. and Alyssa L. Classett. Applicant is Brookhaven Extras, care of Andrew Malguanera. Contact is Brookhaven Expeditors, care of Andrew Malguanera. Description is proposed 12 by 24 in-ground swimming pool. Project requires the following variances. Okay, and I'm gonna read it off of the report because the report has all the correct variances in it. Okay. All right, variance number 1. Rear yard setback for a swimming pool pursuant to 250-11, Section C, subsection 3, Part A. Swimming pools must be set back a minimum of 20 feet from the property line. The proposed property is located approximately 13 feet from the rear property line, requiring a 7-foot variance. Variance number 2, front yard encroachment. Pursuant to 250-11, Section C, subsection 3, Part A, swimming pools are prohibited within any front yard. As a corner lot, both Roosevelt and Old Post are considered front yards. The proposed encroachments into the front yard facing Old Post requiring a variance to permit its placement. Variance number 3, fence height. Pursuant to Section 250-11, Section C, Part 3, subsection B, pools must be enclosed by a fence no less than 5 feet nor more than 6.5 feet in height. The proposed fencing along the eastern portion of the property is 4 feet in height, requiring a variance. Variance number 4, fence height. Pursuant to 250-11, Section C, Subpart 3, Part B, the fencing along the northwestern portion of the property is 3 feet in height, requiring a variance from 5-foot minimum. Variance number 5, setback from principal structure, swimming pool. Pursuant to Section 250-28A, subsection 1, Part C, Section 4, active accessory structures must be located at least 10 feet from the principal building. The proposed pool is located approximately 6 feet from the western side of the residence, requiring a 4-foot variance. Variance number 6, rear yard setback, framed shed. Pursuant to 250-28A, subsection 1, Part B, Section 2, passive accessory structures must be set back a minimum of 5 feet from the rear and side property lines. The existing frame shed, approximately 8.3 by 10.3 feet, is located 3.1 feet from the rear property line, requiring a 1.9-foot variance. Variance number 7, front yard placement, AC unit. Pursuant to 250-28A, subsection 1, Part B, Section 2, passive accessory structures are prohibited within any front yard. The existing air conditioning unit is located at the front yard facing Roosevelt Avenue, requiring a variance to remain in its current location. Variance number 8, front yard placement, pool equipment. Pursuant to 250-28, subsection 1, Part B, Section 2, the proposed swimming pool mechanical equipment is also located within the front yard, requiring a variance. Variance number 9, front yard fence height. And this was not noticed, but we were advised by council it's not a substantial change, so we'll be hearing it tonight. Pursuant to 250-28C, subsection 4, Part A, fences located within the front yard may not exceed 3 feet in height and must be open wood fence type construction. The proposed 4-foot fence along the eastern frontage, Roosevelt Avenue, located within the required front yard appears to exceed the permitted height and construction type. That is all, if that's not enough. All right. Go ahead, if you could just state your name and be sworn in by,
Yes.
and could you state your name and your company, please?
Andrew Malguinera, 713 Main Street, Port Jefferson, agent for Brookhaven Expeditors.
Go ahead.
All right, so we'll skip around here a little bit in terms of the fencing, make this easy. Speaking to my client, we are willing to acquiesce to the code for fencing, and we will withdraw the need for the variances for fencing. They will do it by code
Okay,
at the
so,
proper height.
all right, well, that's good. Just because I was advised by council, we can't even grant those variances if we wanted to.
I didn't think so either. So
State code issue, so
exactly right.
we'll go from there. So, for the record, we're gonna pull back variance, we're gonna eliminate variance number 3. Let me make sure I'm getting this right. Variance number 4. Rear yard setback, front yard, and would that also include variance number 9? And this way you'll just,
I believe it would. Yep.
okay, so for the, that's what I was just about, yeah. So, number 9 being must be open wood type construction. The proposed fence along the eastern is located, so you're going to deal with the open fence construction?
Yeah, all fencing will be put to code when
Okay.
when and if the pool is built. Yes.
So for the record, then, where the applicant's withdrawing 3, 4, and 9. So
Yes.
that-
Village code's 3 feet. You still need a 5-foot fencing.
Right,
So you're gonna need that variance. You can't remove 9.
I'm sorry, Tom, come forward and just say that again, please. Tom, get
I
sworn
can,
in, get sworn in.
Oh. So the variance for the number 9.
Name and just give his name.
Tom Borowski, Gerald Holtzmacher, consultant for the village.
Okay, Tom is a consultant for the village, and to the ZBA and planning board. Tom, go ahead.
So the variance request for the front yard, the height requirement maximum of 3 feet for the front yard. If the applicant is stating that they're gonna go with the 5-foot fence, you still need to have that approved as relief to go 2 feet higher.
We're not going to put it in the front yard of Roosevelt, though.
But you put on the front yard of Old
Of Old
Post.
Post, right.
Old Post is
Which-
still considered
Which already
the front
has
yard.
which already has a 6-foot fence along it,
But
which is what we're asking for anyway. So, however you want to word it, yes. But
Tom?
we're not we're not going to cut it down shorter
Oh,
than it
front yard.
than already.
Oh, he's still gonna need, I see what you're saying, right, yes. So we're still gonna need number 9.
Correct.
Right, because he can't have any higher than 3 feet, and he needs 5 to meet the code and to,
Correct.
all right, so,
Correct.
as Tom pointed out, I'm gonna make a correction, we are gonna hear variance number 9 then.
Thank you.
All right.
So regarding variance number 9, 6-foot fence on a corner lot, pretty standard with any corner lot in existence. I apologize. So on a corner lot, a secondary front yard, a 6-foot fence is standard on most, if not all, corner lots in around the town. I don't believe that would be any adverse effect on that front. In terms of the other issues here, start with the AC unit. It's on the side of the house, where any normal AC unit would ever be. Just again, secondary front yard. This is the rules we have to abide under. Although there is no effect on the area by having an AC unit, and going to the shed, undersized shed under 100 square foot. Needs a 1-foot variance. As you can see, the fence is there. It would just be easier if the board would be open to granting the 1 foot instead of moving the fence and moving the shed. It is undersized. The larger shed will be removed, per code. In terms of the pool, again, secondary front yard. This stuff does happen. We trying to fit it in as best we can. It is a 12 by 24 pool. Through my experience doing numerous pools throughout my career, 12 by 24 is smaller than your average size pool, and my client accounted for the lack of space and by putting that there. The distance from the house to the pool, mostly just a safety concern in terms of needing an engineer to sign off on that, of which we will have done. So there'll be no effects on the foundation of the house by approving the pool at that location.
We're talking about the 6 foot?
the 6 foot to the
Okay.
house, yes. The 13 foot, again, the code is 20. As you see from the property, you can't make it much smaller than it is, unfortunately. And most of, a big factor here is, and I'll present the pictures to the board if they have not seen this property. It is surrounded by vegetation, so there's no view from anywhere that anyone would be affected or in any way by said pool being
Dan, can you get the
closer
pictures from
to closer to property than line than the code permits. I feel yes. Thank you. So going to the criteria the board has, with this an undesirable change to the neighborhood, I don't believe so. It is an undersized pool. It is a corner lot. There are not many lots that would dictate needing this variance, except for our lot. There's no one else would need it. No one else would need a front yard but us, and we are asking for what I believe to be minimal in terms of the overall ask. It is again undersized pool on top of that. No impact on the environment as far as I'm aware, and was it self-created? Yes, in terms of wanting a pool, but I think my client has tried to account for that as best he could in the situation that he's in. And are there alternatives? I mean, not having a pool, it would be the biggest alternative here. But again, going back to that, I feel like my client has fit it and has made it as tastefully done as possible for the neighborhood. And I don't believe any neighbor or anybody in the neighborhood would be affected by said pool. I only feel that it would enhance the overall property values as a whole. And if the board has any questions.
Before we get started, I got a couple of questions here. On the pictures that you're showing me,
Yes.
the grass area is where the pool is going?
Yes.
Okay, so are you removing any of the existing patio?
No.
Okay. Where is the pool equipment going?
The pool equipment's going towards Old Post, towards the corner.
Is that the shed? Is that the shed?
It's the five in the corner, the 5x5 and the
Oh,
Old
okay.
Post,
That's
yeah.
that's the pool equipment.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
then-
yes.
Then the shed is down at the other end.
Exactly right.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the
The
other
bottom,
side.
the
Okay,
bottom
that's-
part. Yes.
Okay, that's what I was getting confused on.
Mhm.
Some questions. You mentioned the engineer said 6 feet from the house. Why doesn't your applicant go 10 feet, eliminate that variance? You're already coming in a variance for the backyard, the neighbors notwithstanding, because we haven't heard, and just make that 9 feet from the property line and
Yeah.
get rid of the variance.
That's
Okay.
up to the board's discretion. I mean, I'll speak to my client on regarding that. I mean, it's one or the other.
Is your client here?
Yes, he is.
Sir, would you be opposed to coming up and talking, Mr. Classic? If you don't feel comfortable, it's fine. I'm not. Okay, no problem.
It's yeah, it's one of the it's through my experience, I don't know how the board felt with the. We're trying to take the minimum impact on the neighbor, which would be moving it from the neighbor, and then getting an engineer to sign off on the house distance. For all intents and purposes, for our needs, is pretty easy, and I feel like that would.
But there's no specific reason why the 6 feet. There's no
no
obstruction.
specific reason, just to make it as far away from the neighbor as possible.
Okay.
Yeah.
Variance number 2 has to do with your partial touch into a front yard.
Correct.
So no matter what happens here, variance number 2
Yes.
is the heart of your application.
Correct. And it's a corner lot with the 2 front yards. I mean, this happens a lot
So
with corner lots.
if we push further into the front yard, getting us further away from the home, although we still deal with variance number 2, we've eliminated possibly something else. Right?
Yes. I mean, through my experience, I've been doing this for a long time. I felt this would be the easiest on your part, in terms of not going near the front yard more, not going near the neighbor yards more, going towards the house doesn't affect anyone but us, in actuality, So by doing that, in my experience, this would be the best, for everybody.
Because if we grant in a variance number 2 partial, we would be specific to the exact location that your plan site.
course.
We wouldn't give you free reign. with
No,
the-
of course. No, we're talking exactly where we put it, yes.
Now, if you were to move that pool south, is there the opportunity to actually not encroach in the front yard whatsoever?
No, it's still approached to a degree, and and at that point, you're kind of squeezing it in and making it like,
Towards the patio.
right. So, it wouldn't, no one, if this is your house, it's not how you'd want it set up. You want some buffer between the patio and the pool. You want it on top of each other. And you would still have, to some degree, some front yard buffer. And again, I think, in my opinion, we're far enough away from Old Post. And besides the length that we're from Old Post, we also have the tree buffer that's been there for years. So there's no view from anybody seeing this. Along Old Post, correct.
Now, question for you regarding, and you want to bring it up? You want me to?
So my question for you is in regards to your fencing, and while noted that you would look to adhere to code in regards to the 5 to 6.5 foot fencing,
Yes.
do you have an intention to move the fencing from what is the proper front yard on Roosevelt and move it in line with maybe within the home? So you're not putting up a 5 foot fence in the
Absolutely.
front yard
No,
along
absolutely.
a
That- yeah.
street line?
That's well, yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, along the house like you normally would, yes.
Coming off the side of the
corner.
home. Okay.
Exactly right. Yes, the 5 foot fence would not go forward to Roosevelt.
Right, so you'd be roughly
In
the
line,
survey where
yeah.
that 40.1 is in that.
Correct. Yeah, we wouldn't put a 5 foot fence forward like it would be like a normal house would be.
Just want to
Yes.
make sure we're
Yes,
not
absolutely, absolutely.
making the neighborhood look.
100%. No, I get it. Yep, on the same
Thank you.
page. Yep.
We're still going to need a variance because technically it's.
Yes. Yep. Yep.
Yep.
Yep. That's completely.
I'm
correct.
just looking to clarify, we don't have a 5 foot fence that's going to be running along what is
Yes.
their actual front
Front yard,
yard
yes.
along Roosevelt Avenue.
Agreed.
Yes.
But if they adhere to that requirement of having a 5 foot fence, then they'll need another variance because it'll be a 5 foot fence in their front yard.
Right, either way, variance 9 doesn't go away.
Either way,
'Cause we have
variance
a
9.
6. We have a 6 now.
Right.
Right. Along
'Cause either
along
fence-
Old Post. Yeah.
You have a 6 along Old Post, but you have a 3 foot picket along Roosevelt.
Correct. And we're not putting a 5 foot fence. We're putting it at the corner, going straight to Old Post.
Any other questions or comments from the board?
What's the size of the lot? What is the acreage?
The acreage.
footage?
I'm not sure if it's on the survey or not.
11,000?
0.2 acre,
Yeah.
0.25 acre, 11,000 square feet.
Yep.
Yes, 11,000 square feet.
Would we be approaching the maximum coverage of this lot, percentage-wise? Yeah, Mike is green.
I don't believe so.
Yeah.
Tom, can you come up and answer that question?
Have a coverage? Whether we have a coverage, whether.
Or Dan, I'm sorry, it's you either Tom or Dan. Do you guys know the answer to?
Yes, whether we are approaching the maximum coverage of the lot as far as, structure.
Dan, can you come forward and just get sworn in? And
Sure. I guess you got swearing, right? Yeah.
And just state your name and your position with the village.
Yep. Daniel Gross, Senior Planner for the Corporate Village of Port Jefferson. So, yeah, the only concern is we didn't really get a chance to review that. We weren't provided with coverage calculations as part of this application, and obviously that would be a concern that would come up on our end, especially with the, during the building permit process, et cetera. So it could be something the board could.
Do you have, as in your professional opinion, without understanding you don't have calculations in front of you, do you think that would be a concern? It's going to be close. Is that what you're?
Through my experience, I don't believe it's concerning.
Okay.
We will get the surveyor to show it.
Okay.
So the board can,
Alright.
so the town can review it and obviously address it
Alright.
accordingly. Yeah.
So we'll
Yeah.
leave that item open until we confirm that.
And
right?
Yes.
Oh, thank you. And you said you'd be removing one of the sheds?
Yes, the larger shed.
Okay, is that the one in the far
It's
corner
encroaching,
in
yes.
the southern? Okay,
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. It's
You're-
gone already.
You're
yes. It's already
yes.
gone. Yeah.
All right. So obviously, when you update your survey, when everything's
Yes,
done.
we will update the survey with that and with the percentage as well.
Okay. Are there other questions or comments from the board? Going once? Going twice? All right. I'm gonna open it up to the public for any questions or comments. Is there anyone here that would like to speak on this application? Sir, come forward. Come forward, sir. Before you have a seat, could you just face Jen, and she's just gonna swear you in. Hold on, I just need you to be sworn in, though. She's gotta swear you in, just.
You swear to tell the truth?
Yes.
Your name was?
Robert Darling, 499 Old Post Road.
Mr. Darling, have a seat and please share your,
I got a couple
Comments.
questions.
yes, sir.
Number one, is the pump and all that stuff going to go in this
All right.
operation?
So if you look at that survey right there,
Mm-hmm.
top left corner, you see,
Is it in at the front of the house,
that is the old post side of the house.
the old post side?
Yes, you'll see old
But
post,
how far?
5 feet from the property line in both directions. So 5 feet in and 5 feet over from the property line as per code.
Yeah, but where is it? What I'm saying is it's going to be next to my property?
It's gonna be in the corner of your property. Yeah, are you the are you the property behind this, sir?
Yeah, I'm on the property right there.
Okay.
And I don't want a pump running in my 2 bedrooms in the house on that side.
Okay, so it appears that it's going to be 5 feet from your from the property line, which I assume is your property line as well, you share. So yes, that's what he's showing right now.
Yeah,
Okay.
it is as far away from the house as it's actually more beneficial to be where it is than to be within code. If we put this equipment by the paver patio, which would be 5 feet from the property line, which would be within code, to be closer to his house than where it is currently. I don't believe, with all due respect, that would have any effect. I think this is the best spot for you, and wouldn't have effect between the trees and the distance. You wouldn't even notice it was
Mr.
there.
Darling, hold on. Can we put an aerial up of this neighborhood, please? Let's say, we're gonna put an aerial up and see where your house is relative to this pool equipment. Just give us a moment.
My house is on the,
All right, so his house is in line with our house, and putting it towards Old Post would be more further away than anyone's normal neighbor would have a pool equipment. So,
So it appears it's going to be in the corner closest to Old Post Road. They
I wanna-
still have the screening, they'll still have the screening from the existing, I want to say green giants or arborvitaes that are there. But it will be in the corner of your property, 5 feet off your property line, yes. That's what they're proposing. No one's approved anything or made any comments on it yet, so. What was your second question, sir?
another question is, since the property slopes to my property, if we have these torrential rains we're having and the pool floods, the property that's going to be on my property,
Are you even with him or are you lower than him
Huh?
or higher? Is your property even with?
no, mine's lower than his. It's kind of slopes that way.
Okay.
Stanley's he's a good neighbor and everything, but
No
I have to-
concerns? I don't think- We're just gonna take a quick look at these contours here. So you have 180, and what's that contour next to? What's the next?
Yeah, I think those are 10-foot contours.
10 foot?
Yeah.
There's about 5 feet between. Yeah, it's only 5 feet there.
Yeah, no, so he's at 175, so he's 5 foot lower. Okay, so, yeah, it appears that your property in at least in the front yard is 5 feet lower than, the 100 Roosevelt property. So, that could be a possibility, yes. Thank you for bringing that to our attention. Do you have any other questions or comments?
that's it.
Okay, thank you for your time, Mr. Darling, appreciate it.
All right,
We'll
thank
take
you.
your
Thank you.
comments into consideration. For anyone else that would like to speak, please come forward, sir. Mr. Alemo, just state your name and your address, please.
Yes. Thomas Alemo, 102 Laurel Lane, Port Jefferson, New York.
Can you tell, can you tell us where you are relative to this property?
I am
What was your address?
right
again? I'm
on,
sorry.
excuse me,
What was the address again?
102 Laurel Lane.
102, okay.
Laurel Lane. Yeah, I'm
Lowell
other
Lane.
side of Old Post, second house on,
It's on Brook.
You said Laurel, right?
on Brook.
It's on Brook.
Brook, on Brook.
A little higher.
Laurel
right
Lane.
there.
Eight.
Yep.
Laurel.
Lowell. No, Lowell.
No, Lowell, not Laurel.
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 I'm sorry, Laurel or
yeah.
we're all,
Laurel.
Laurel.
L-A-U-R-E-L.
all right.
102
so-
Laurel. Yeah, it's right there.
all right, we
Yes.
Apologize, Mr. Alemo. All right, so go ahead, I apologize.
Okay. I've been a neighbor for 27 years. I don't have a problem with him getting passed on his variance.
Mhm.
I was just listening to Mr. Darling about the noise problem that he could have.
Mhm.
Very simply, they can build a little structure with soundproofing material to deflect the noise or encase it. And as far as the runoff, if the pool wasn't there and you had 9 inches of rain, it's still going on his property,
Yes.
okay? But as far as anything else, I don't have a problem. Stan's been a great neighbor, and I'm just here to support him.
Excellent.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak on this application? Please come forward and be heard. Going once, going twice. Okay, is there any other questions from the board that they'd like to ask the applicant? All right, so we have a couple of things to iron out. First thing being that we need the lot coverage numbers. So we're gonna hold open this hearing until the next meeting. I also understand there's some issues that the village has to address with your client. So we're gonna hold this
Okay.
open.
Sure.
And then we'll discuss it either, hopefully we'll close it at the next
I appreciate
hearing.
it.
All right? That being said, I'm gonna make a motion that we hold open this hearing.
Mr. Chairman, do you want to put the date of the hearing on the record?
What is the,
September 25th.
all right, so we're gonna put you on the agenda for September 25th, barring any issues or questions or comments from staff or legal. And thank you for your time and thank your client for his time.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Did we ever?
Do we have a second?
No.
Second.
You needed,
I need a second on the motion to hold it open.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
aye,
Aye. Po-
yes,
No,
it was
Dan
Dan.
Russo.
I made the motion, Dan seconded. All right. That being said, we're gonna move on to 124, 128 East Main Street. I'm gonna read the notice into the record.
Before you do that, I'm gonna step down.
Do you want to step down before I do it, or?
Jen, I'm due to this file. I was the broker of record, so for that, I'm going to recuse myself from this file.
124, 126 East Main Street, appeal number ZB-0018-25, section, Suffolk County Tax Map number 206-12-20-25, zoning C-1, Central Commercial District, location is west side of East Main Street. Property owner is Port Jeff Premier Holdings, applicant is Port Jeff Premier Holdings, care of Richard Albano. Contact is Woodhull Expediting, care of Amy DeVito. Description is existing mixed-use building. Action is a public hearing. The proposed project requires the following variances pursuant to the Village of Port Jefferson Code. Variance number 1, existing retail space of 299 where minimum required is 800 square feet. Variance number 2, existing retail space 447 square feet where required minimum is 800 square feet. Variance number 3, existing 318 square foot apartment where a minimum of 400 is required. Amy, could you just be sworn in, please? Enlighten us.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. Amy DeVito, Woodhull Expediting with offices at 800 Veterans Memorial Highway, Hauppauge, New York. So I'll start with a little history. My client purchased the property in 2023. Um, when he purchased, he did some cosmetic upgrades to the property, some interior alterations, um, wherein he was approached by the Village of Port Jefferson staff. I'm not sure who the inspector was that originally approached him, but they basically informed him that he needed to get some permits. After some back and forth, a permit application was filed, and that eventually led us here. So we're here today to legalize the square footage for both of the commercial spaces as well as the square footage for the studio apartment located in the lower level. I have had extensive conversation with Mr. Albano, the owner, about the layout. And again, he has not changed anything as far as removing or adding walls. So when he purchased the building, everything existed the way it is laid out today as per the plans that you, I'm sure, have received a copy of from Todd O'Connell Architect.
Can you put the floor plan up, please?
So with that said, there is a CEU on the property from July 9th of 1990, which does call for 2 apartments on the rear ground level and 2 retail stores and 2 apartments behind on the front ground level. So nothing has changed as far as the apartment count. There are still 4 apartments and there are still 2 commercial spaces. Since we originally began this application process, originally Mr. Albano, and then I stepped in sometime later, one of the commercial storefronts has been rented to a real estate office. So it's actually not being used as retail currently. In speaking with staff, we wanted to maintain going for this variance for the second space as well. That way, it would also be reflective of what the CEU calls for and would permit them to have a retail space in the future if the real estate office decides to leave. Right now, the 2 storefronts are occupied by Healing Nature, which is like basically a wellness store. They sell essential oils and things like that. And then again, the real estate office is on the right side. So just to be more specific, and I'm just going to open up the plans because I don't have my glasses, so I can't actually see that. So the retail tenant space number 1 of 299 square feet is Healing Nature, and the retail tenant space number 2, currently occupied by a real estate office, is 447 square feet. So as far as the lower level apartment, if you look at the current floor plan for the lower level, as compared to the floor plan on file from the 1990s, around the time that the CEU was issued, there is some differences as far as what seems to have been proposed around that time, which in my opinion, this was probably for some type of permit at that time and not necessarily the CEU, because a lot of it does express that it's going to be proposed on that plan. But my point I'm trying to make is that the basement plan, it would be very hard to manipulate the size of these apartments, just the way the actual floor plan is laid out. So again, just reiterating the fact that Mr. Albano did not change the layout at all. I could not say if somebody prior did, although I do not believe that occurred. So with that said, I'm happy to answer any questions the board may have.
So the CEU versus what we have in reality, does square footages match for all 3 apartments?
So they're really, and maybe Dan or Tom can clarify this, but I don't think that the floor plan that is on file with the building department is the floor plan for the actual CEU application. I believe that this was a floor plan that was given in to actually obtain a permit to do some proposed changes. So I have no way of confirming that, but if you look at the floor plans compared to one another, they do look very similar in layout.
So again, my question, on the CEU, does it indicate the square footages of each apartment?
No.
Okay. What is different from what was CEU'd or supposed to now? What's the biggest difference?
I don't think there is one.
Dan, can you come forward and sit? You've been sworn in, so.
Yes, it does. Okay. So yeah, so I mean, when we reviewed those plans, again, I do agree it's a little speculative in terms of like, again, we had it filed together with the CU. We had those. Oh, sorry. Okay, I'll speak slower. So with the CU, we had the plans filed with it showing the from 1990, showing what Amy's described as the layout of the building's interior, and it does indicate proposed at the time. But again, because they were filed together, and it's hard for us to really have those records. So we tried to emulate that a bit in the staff report, indicating that, again, we don't know when these changes might have occurred, if they have occurred. So that's where the question comes from. But if you look at those plans, at least when Andy and I reviewed it together, and the rest of the staff reviewed it, the 90 plans are slightly different in their layouts, and it doesn't appear that at least for us, that 300, the small studio apartment that's in there, they seem to be more two bigger or evenly spread out spaces on that proposed plan.
So the 318 square foot apartment,
Yeah.
is that CU'd? Is that what?
So that's what's difficult. The CEU it's very specific of what it says, like the terms of the uses, but did not include square footages. It wasn't very specific about the actual approved layout at the time. And after discussion with staff, this is where it's coming to point. In order to legalize this was the approach we had going forward, because
I'm confused on it, because if it has a CEU on it.
Yeah.
And it's the same, I'm saying that very, why would I need, then why am I here for a variance? It's already got a CEU on it. What's driving them to be here for that?
Mr. Chairman, I just want to interject. The CEU does specifically say 2 apartments on the rear ground level. So
Okay.
it does specifically call out 2 apartments on the lower level.
Okay.
We will never know if they were evenly split, a wall was moved over. There's no way to tell unless we find somebody
Okay,
who
so
was in
no-
there.
So you had 2, and now are you proposing 3 on the
No.
bottom? Oh,
It's still 2.
right.
In my opinion, they were probably always laid out this way, just from the layout of the actual lower level.
Okay.
So the CEU does confirm and certify that there are 2 apartments on the lower level. If a wall was moved at some point in the last
Right.
60 years,
Right.
nobody will ever know that. But the point is that 2 apartments were certified down there, 2 apartments are down there now.
Parker, can you put up the CEU, please? So there's 4, how many apartments total? 3 or 4 apartments?
four
Four
apartments.
2 on the lower level or 3 on the lower level, 1 on the top? Or-
So you know how on East Main Street it slopes down? Okay, so behind the building on the lower level at parking lot level, there's 2.
Mhm.
The small apartment in question is on that level.
Okay.
There is then an additional apartment behind the retail on East Main Street, street level.
Okay.
There is then a apartment that is behind and a little bit raised behind the commercial, the retail spaces. So it's kind of like a split level almost.
So it's a nice simple building, is that what you're telling me?
Very simple, not a lot of stairs, not a lot of confusion. So it's worded a little strangely because when you look at it, it sounds like they're both on that street level and then the ground level. But they actually are both on the street level. It's just one's raised up. So if you're familiar with the building, which I'm sure everybody has seen it a gajillion times, the apartment that is, well, hold on now, I'm going to confuse this. So the 2 lower level, ground level apartments in the back are accessed either from the back or you can walk from street level and go down a set of stairs. The apartment behind the retail stores is accessed through street level and then you go down a little hallway and you access the door.
Okay.
No, I'm getting it wrong. I just went over this with them. I'm so sorry. It's the opposite. That door that you go into from street level, when you go past the retail stores in between, if you walk up the stairs, you reach that apartment. The door that's on the exterior on the left side accesses the one behind the retail. So if everybody recalls, there's like a little alleyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that door is where you would then access the other one. So they are technically both street level, but just slightly up. Just to clarify, because I know that question was going to come.
So Dan, question, another question I have for you. On that CEU that we were looking at,
Yeah.
it says 2 retail stores. Do we know at the time what the size of those retail stores were? Because if it has a CEU for a retail store,
Yeah.
again, I'm not sure why we're hearing this application if it's already been CEU'd. We're kind of coming in at the last point.
Yeah, understood. So I mean, there is a long history on this project, and that we haven't fully delved into. But the retail spaces, again, there was no direct indication of the size of them at the time. Direct indication of the size of them at the time. We have those 1990 plans again.
And what are the 1990 plans showing?
So that's what I was hoping we could pull up, so you could
Parker,
see it,
can
and they don't explicitly list dimensions.
So
they show
so
layout.
the plans we're about to look at from 1990 are the ones that we think goes with this CEU.
Exactly.
Okay.
And we know this was before the planning board throughout the 90s as well. Again, but the records aren't certainly.
Because I mean, I don't know if anyone on the board disagrees with me, but I kind of feel like if according to the CEU, it says 2 retail apartments. We just don't know. You know, did he make them bigger? Did he make them smaller? Did he?
I mean, they
Did
would
he
never,
just-
they would never both be able to conform, given how much
Right.
space they have.
But did this process happen
do
back
have
in
them.
1990, and
That's
why
what-
are we hearing it again? That's what I'm
Right.
trying to figure out.
So just to clarify a few things, Mr. Albano and I have had many meetings and conversations with staff to discuss this and why we needed to go to zoning board. It appears that we are at an impasse. Mr. Albano and I feel that this is certificated and we should not necessarily, be asking for variances. Staff feels that something changed. We can't actually pinpoint what, and that we should get these variances. For the sake of keeping things moving forward, we're here
right,
and
let's-
requesting the variances.
Hold that thought 1 second.
Sure.
Parker, this one that we're looking at right now, is that the 1990 plans?
Yeah. Those.
1990 proposed plans, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Are these the plans that that staff thinks the CEU was issued against?
Yes, and we're
Andy, I
looking,
hate to
do I
do
need
this
to
to you.
identify me?
Just be sworn in.
I do. Andy Freeling, Director of Planning, Village of Port Jefferson. I think there was, and we're looking for it now, if I recall, this is going back a ways, but there was an existing conditions map. And when the building inspector at the time went into the building, he noticed that the existing conditions for this map didn't match the existing conditions at the time of the inspection, which triggered the desire to have this map updated. So what we're trying to find is the map that was submitted with this, which was the existing conditions map that is different than the proposed plans and different than the existing plans now, as the applicant has. So that's a lot of water under the bridge.
Right.
And the applicant agreed to come ahead and legalize the existing conditions.
Correct.
So we'll keep looking for that if you want that,
I have-
want that plan, but that's what started.
Okay,
so-
one last question for you. I'm looking up here and it looks like, that says 600 square feet on it. That right there, does that say it looks like 600 plus a square feet, okay.
I think somebody hand wrote that in though. I don't
Yeah,
know
yeah,
if
yeah,
that was
I'm-
part of
I'm
the
just-
plan, yeah.
I'm just pointing that out.
Okay, so I just wanted,
So, so the total, if the 2 retail stores were combined, what's the total, so the total square footage is what? One store wouldn't even, if you made one store, you still wouldn't.
It would be just less than 800.
Right,
It's
so you still wouldn't
447 plus 299. So that's for,
right.
5, 6, 7. Yes, about 7
7 to
45
change.
or something
We'll
like
call it
that, yeah.
7 to change, oh.
And
Does
did we pull up the CEU file? Did we actually see the CEU itself?
Yeah, we're just looking at it.
And then, oh, there it is.
Say
Okay,
the
can we
2
just see?
apartments, 2 retail stores.
So Dan, you're stating for the record that although the CEU was issued, there's no drawings or anything written down on a CEU or anywhere else indicating sizes of apartments or anything. It's just general comments like this here, 2 apartments on the rear ground level.
Exactly.
So,
Because it's saying that the existing use, okay, in that district, they're acknowledging that there was a residential component occurring as a use,
Yes.
right? So when they issue the CEU, it's not about necessarily dimensions. It's about what is happening there. And does that conform to that district? That is a commercial district where business is conducted, essentially. But somebody lived there before business was conducted or before the zoning changed. And they're acknowledging that existing use, 2 units, nothing about dimensions of those units, just 2 habitable places.
Yeah. And if I just want to add too, so there, part of this too was triggered when the building inspector at the time reviewed this application and reviewed the building permit that was submitted. They looked at the New York State Building Code, and I guess there's a certain level of renovation that was saw that exceeds about 50% of what was existing. And now, what that's based off, again, that I would defer to our building inspector at the time or our current building inspector to talk about that. But because of those findings, they said because 50% or more of the interior was renovated, that triggers it to have to now conform to modern day codes.
Okay.
So because of that issuance from the building inspector and his findings at the time, that also helped us to need the requirement for the variance.
And when you said at the time, we're talking now.
This building permit was received in December.
Right, but we're not talking
2023.
we're not
Yes.
talking 1990, we're talking
No, I mean,
2025.
this is,
Right,
exactly, this
okay.
is present code.
Okay, present day.
That also supported, again, the request or the desire for the variances from us. And the other thing I'll indicate is just, and not even a bad light, just this is a trend on East Main Street. We've had several properties coming in, trying to get certificate of occupancy, CEUs, and coming into conformance. So it's just kind of a general trend that we're going, towards the village, towards the neighboring properties, just trying to make things more aligned with the code, so they have more support on their end as well. So.
Yeah, and I should also add that the size of the retail and/or commercial spaces in this building are not unusual at all, especially on the East Main Street district. There are several small retail shops all along East Main Street, so I think it does conform with the character and the nature of the neighborhood. Moreover, it's, just kind of standard issue with these type of mixed-use buildings, so.
And Dan, is that, you concur with that we're seeing the retail spaces not conforming to code? Is that true? Or do you concur, or are there other, let me rephrase the question. Are there other retail spaces on East Main Street that do not conform to the 800 square feet?
So I would say likely on the record, but I would like to verify that and, we'll double check. But I will say it is a trend because, again, a lot of this is the historic district in East Main Street, and a lot of these are pre-existing spaces.
All right. I'm going to back up to a comment that Dan made again just now. Amy, do you, I don't want to say confirm or deny because that's not fair, but I guess we're saying the building inspector went out and said he saw 50% or more of renovations on the space? Because you're saying pretty much the space was as is as he purchased it.
Yeah, so Mr. Albano, when he purchased, almost all of what he did, if not all, was just really cosmetic upgrades, changing windows, painting, repairing sheetrock, new flooring, just basically making the interior look nicer, which it looks beautiful, by the way. So I cannot recall if it was James Redfield or Mark Visekis. I think it was James Redfield. When he went out, he had stated that there were more than 50% changes. In my opinion, these were mostly cosmetic changes, so would be a level 1 alteration, not a level 3 alteration. So I disagree with that. And I'm sure I could have the architect also concur with that, although he is not here this evening to do that.
Well, I will tell you from my experience, changing windows is more than cosmetic, but I'm not going to argue building code or level. That's not what we're here for tonight.
What is he basing his change off of? This is not verified. I don't understand when you make a determination about there has been some change over something, on what is he relying on?
Well, the building inspector went there and observed what he thought was more than 50% of alterations.
Based on his prior knowledge of this interior?
From what he'd seen, I guess from what he'd seen and from his experience and expertise in.
But just to elaborate on that, there was really nothing for him to go off of, so to speak, because again, these plans are, much of what it says on there are proposed, which I don't think ever actually occurred. But just to reiterate what Mr. Freeling was saying, it is water under the bridge. We have
Yeah,
all
no,
come to terms with the fact that
It is what
we're
it is.
just gonna agree to
It is what
disagree.
it is at
Yeah.
this point. We're just, if we were to move forward with these variances, you realize, and then you received a copy of the staff report, we'd want full permits in place. We're gonna
Yes.
be a little more specific in our
Correct.
CUs and have more up-to-date plans.
Yes.
So there's,
Which in my opinion is beneficial to Mr. Albano. That way, moving forward, everything is cleaned up and he has all the proper certificates. Before we turn this over to the public, Mr. Albano would just like to say a few words, if I can have him come up now.
sure, absolutely.
Okay.
Mr. Albano, come forward.
Richard Albano? I do. Richard Albano.
Can you just state your address for the record, sir?
Sure, 227 Edgewood Avenue, Smithtown, New York, 11787.
Please, go ahead.
Glad I held the door open for you
Thank you.
on the way in. I just like to say I appreciate the board listening to what we have to say. I bought this building. I love the building. I'm passionate about every about it. After I purchased it, I saw a bronze plaque in front of it on the sidewalk that pretty much states that this is the oldest building in Port Jeff. I don't think it gets enough recognition for that, but it's a very simple building. Okay, it was built back in the day of George Washington. Okay, I'm not sure if he slept there, but I'll go with that.
Almost everywhere.
Right, and that's probably why the apartment is small, but the building, what I did was not just cosmetic, okay, so it's like you said, I replaced the windows, and Mark was the building inspector at the time, and Jim Redfield, but Jim Redfield had never come into the building until after Mark had left the building department. Mark had been there, I would guess, somewhere between 10 and 12 times to inspect, because before I did anything, I called the building department and asked, right from, can I remove a tree that's in the backyard that's up against the home? Can I replace the roof shingles? Okay, do I need a permit? I asked about the windows. They said, let's send an inspector out. Mark came out and said, are you making the headers larger? I said, no. The windows were so large, okay? One of them was even a French door that I changed into a window. As long as you're making the headers small, not changing the headers, but making the windows the same size or smaller, you do not need a building permit. I went through this whole thing. I pretty much finished it without a building permit because he was there 10 to 12 times and said each time that I do not need a building permit. Then all of a sudden it came, okay, the place is, you're doing so much, I says, well, what I'm doing doesn't require a permit. I said, I'm not changing a lot. I'm not changing exterior walls and interior walls, things like that. And I believe Jim Redfield, before he left, said it looks like there's over 50% of work here. I says, you're seeing it because it's beautiful. I said, it's got a skim coat on all the sheetrock. Okay, that had been wallpaper up. I replaced the doorknobs, refinished the doors, I mean, I don't think that spackle and paint and, wood putty, I mean, if you're familiar with the building at all, you saw what I did to the storefronts there. I made it look like it was back in time. I didn't rip them down like a lot of other stores did. Not saying it's wrong, because sometimes you can't. But, replace them with aluminum frames and, that type of thing. That door that's on there has got to be at least 250 years old. That's on the front of one of the stores, I tried to keep it as best as possible in the tradition of Port Jeff Village. And that's my passion, that I had with it. And I just want to, to clarify, reading that CEU, if you read it, it's vague.
Yes.
Okay, it is. But you read it, and it is exactly how it is now. So I hear you when you say, it's like I've been going through this for over 2 years, okay, to try to comply to try to get a CEO that's basically going to state what this one states. So just wanted to say that.
I will
appreciate
say
that.
for the record, I was at the property last night, just walking by, and it is beautiful. You've taken an underutilized building and made it a jewel in the village, so we appreciate that.
Thank you, sir.
But we just want to clear this issue up, so you
Absolutely.
don't have to
Same
come in
here.
front of the village or anyone else, and no one gives you any issues. Does anyone else have
Thank you for your time.
Hold on one second. Does anybody have a question for the applicant? Any questions or comments?
Do we know when the code was enacted? This code 250-18G. What was the date that was enacted in our code? Because that's what the variance is tied to today, right? We're here for lower level basement.
One apartment, undersized apartment, and two undersized retail.
So it's not about use, it's about size now, right?
And
Amy, is that the reason?
Yeah, so we are, let me just go to the memo, hold on. 250-18G and 161-8B. So the variances are for, well, it's specifically for the size,
Yeah,
correct?
Not
The
the
size,
use.
correct.
no,
It's the size of the two front storefronts and the size of the one of the four apartments on the lower level.
And we're under, we're not over, we're not asking, right? We're not-
Right.
okay, we're not
Well,
under.
yes, we
We're
are
under.
not intensifying.
Right. And in the staff review, it mentions each new or partitioned, each new, what does that mean? 800 square feet is required for each new. Are these new businesses or new?
I mean, again, we do not know if these have ever actually changed and if that was the case when it changed, so,
Amy, I'm gonna let staff
sure.
answer that question.
I just wanted to interject that in lieu of a stipulated settlement, at the end of the process of going back and forth with the building and planning department and the applicant, it was agreed that the applicant would file for building permits in order to legitimize the space. How we got here, when the law was enacted, is
Okay.
really,
I see your point, yes. thank you.
okay. So we're really just here to legitimize the existing space
All right.
under
So
the current code.
are there any other questions or comments for this
This
applicant?
went through the building, this went through planning board? Are you here from a denial of planning?
No.
board?
No, no.
Just want to make sure the record states.
This is strictly through the building department and a stipulation between
Understood.
Mr. Albano and the building department.
Just like to get everything clarified.
Yep,
you know, so
absolutely.
Nobody else has a problem down the road.
Any other questions or comments?
Thank you.
None being heard, I'm going to open it up to the public. Is there anyone like to come forward? Please come forward, Mr. Albano. You can have a seat. Thank you. Ms. Benz, can you state your address for the record, please?
Technically, I guess it's 25 East Broadway.
Okay.
I'm the general manager of Danfords.
Okay.
And I just want to clarify something. In the beginning, you said, oh, sure. In the beginning, you said that the address was 124, 128. It is 124, 126 because Danfords owns 128, which is the 1896 building. So that needs to be fixed.
Just gonna, Dan, come forward and can you clarify that? Do you concur or?
That was just on the staff memo, the actual.
Yeah, I do concur, 'cause the
Okay.
public notice was 126, the staff memo was 128, a little oversight on my part.
Okay, no problem.
It was noted correctly.
All right.
Section, block, and lot correct of the tax map?
Yes. 12/2/25.
Okay, thank you. We'll correct that.
My concern comes from the apartments in the rear of this building, 126, 124.
Parker, put up the floor plan, please. Go ahead.
The way that our property line goes, the current owner of the 124, 126 has placed a gate on the back of our building, 128, for their tenants to get to and to leave from the apartment. In the back, there is no egress down into the parking lot for 126, 128. There's also an AC unit that is on our property line. Currently, there's 2 grills and a whole bunch of other stuff that's over there, which is encroaching on 128's property line.
Okay. So you're saying there's air conditioning right at your property, air conditioning units and stuff? Do you have any pictures?
I
of it?
do.
Could you please present them?
Yeah. So this is the survey for lot M on there. These are the pictures. So our property line goes right through here. This is an AC unit. These are the grills. This is our AC unit.
Okay,
This is the gate that they've affixed to the back of our building.
okay.
That's another grill that's also on our property.
Okay. All right. Interesting. All right, so gate. All right. Could just give me what's
It's a box of
just debris.
debris that
Okay, no problem.
Would it be possible to pull the tax map up again so we can kind of see where the fence is located?
Cindy, we're gonna make those exhibit.
Thanks.
Okay.
Okay, so where would the actual fence that's affixed to 128, where
It's in the back of 128.
in the back,
It's attached to the brick of my building.
squarely on 128, okay.
Mhm.
We see aerial instead of,
And this is for those apartments that Danford owns, the efficiency apartments down there?
Right. There's 3 apartments in there as well as Stacy's Pattern Finders and then the bakery. And I mean, the bakery would love to have tables out, but unfortunately, right now we have the tenants of the building next to us. A, we're locked out of part of our property, and B, they're walking across our property to get to their property.
Yeah, I know there's efficiency apartments well.
It's where I live.
Do you have any other questions or comments for the board?
Nope, that's just my concern there, which I know that we're hoping we can solve it and then.
I'm
from
gonna
there.
ask you to take a seat
Yep.
back. I'm gonna ask Mr. Albano to come up and. Mr. Albano?
Mr. Chairman, is it possible for us to see the survey and the photos? Because
Sure,
I have
absolutely,
zero
yeah.
knowledge of this.
Yeah, no problem, absolutely. Dan, can you give them? Take a minute, look at them.
So this is your patio?
Yes, and this is behind the bakery building, this is not my property. Absolutely, I got it. If I
When
may.
you're ready, when you're ready.
Okay, you got it. Prior to the installation of the fence and gate, I contacted Danford's, the manager, at the time. Okay, I just looked at my phone, I don't have his name or number with me. But at the time, it was a little over 2 years ago, and I asked him, there's a white PVC fence between the 2 buildings in the front. And I asked, I'd like to take that down so that my tenants can walk through. He said, we really don't want that taken down because our apartments are there. We really don't want people hanging out there. I said to him, the only other choice that I have is behind your building. I said, it's overgrown. He says, okay, let me see if I can get my maintenance guy out there. I says, look, I'm okay because it benefits me with clearing that. And I want to put a brick patio, the same exact brick that's in the bakery, Baker's Alley, okay, and that Port Jeff uses throughout that area. I said, I'd like to get the same brick and do that. Is it okay if I put a brick walkway behind the building? I'm not going to put a brick walkway behind a building without permission, Spencer, after speaking to them over there. So, and after I did that, I said, I'd like to put a fence up. I'm going to put it back, but, you tell me. He says, let me see what you're talking about. He came down, he met me with a maintenance worker that I do have his name, if I may, just for the record. His name was Mike Foster. Okay, I'm not sure if he's still employed or not, but he came down with the manager and we discussed where would be best to put the gate. He said it'd be best if it went up against the building. I says, you realize it's not on your property. He says, we don't use that property and you're cleaning it up. This was overgrown with weeds. When I bought it, this area here, that's in here, the weeds were at least 6 feet high. It's almost like a bamboo, but it's not, but it just
So
constantly
is that brick
grows.
walkway on your property or is that on?
This walkway is on Danford's property, behind the Danford the bakery building. It is.
Okay.
I installed this walkway, okay, to meet the Baker's Alley walkway, okay, with permission from them. I said, do you want it over here in the middle? He says, well, if you put up against the building, it'd be better, because I'd rather it not cover. There's a, like a sewer clean out over here. He said, I'd rather it not go in the middle. I'd rather it be up against the building. Whatever you want, it's helping me out. The only other option would be to take down the white PVC fence that's partially on Danford's property and my property. They did not want that taken down. This all occurred basically, I don't have direct knowledge, but I believe that when the state and Port Jeff put up the chain link fence behind it, they have a retaining wall there. There is a stairs for Baker's Alley, but there's no stairs to get to the back of my building. So that's kind of where we're at.
Well,
I just want to clarify something.
sure.
So, this is you. So you're saying there's a walkway that comes
I mean, this is where I'm at here. Where is she?
This is you. So this is East Main Street. This is your building. So there is a walkway that comes here. There's a gate.
Where's Baker's Alley? This is Baker's Alley.
So
Okay,
Baker-
yeah, I'm
yeah.
sorry, right here.
So
Yeah,
so
it goes
what
right there.
So there's an access across their lot to get
Correct.
to the Baker Valley stuff.
Correct, exactly. And that's this walkway. No. Get rid of it, okay?
Yeah.
It'll destroy their property.
Mr. Chairman, I just wanted to clarify with Mr. Albano the location of the walkway and the gate so that I understood, because this is all coming up tonight.
Yep.
Was not brought up to me sooner. Obviously, he, is accessing Baker's Alley by crossing over somebody's property. So either Mr. Albano would have to contact current ownership of Danfords and see if he could get some type of access easement agreement, or he would potentially have to remove the gate and the access.
Well, that's really, I mean, no disrespect to Mr. Albano, we're really just taking his word for it, and there's nothing memorialized. in what
Correct.
he's saying. I'm not questioning your integrity, sir, I'm just, so.
I have no problem removing it at all.
No, and they've shown it, there is one other issue, I think one of them is about an air conditioning unit. What I would recommend to you is that I'm gonna ask staff, I'm probably gonna end up holding this hearing over, but I'm gonna ask staff to go out and look at this, whether it's Jim or you, Dan, and just see what we're seeing out there.
Fine.
Maybe meet with the general manager from Danfords and see if we can find an accommodation or something. Yes, Dan?
If we could also get an as-built survey too, showing everything going on this property, because I don't think we have a current survey showing all this additions
You
and
don't,
changes.
but this wouldn't be on our survey because it's Danfords property. So,
I'm admitting that's on their property.
yeah,
It's fully the fencing and
correct.
is there,
The fencing and the walkway is on their property, not the
so we
patio.
still never received a survey though with the application, so I think that's
Well, you have a survey. It's just not a current
current
survey.
one. We don't have a
Correct.
current survey
Yeah.
of the
And-
application.
yeah,
We could
that-
get an updated survey.
per
That's not a
your
problem.
That's all I'm
recommendation.
asking.
Yeah.
Yeah, just so
Yeah,
we
yeah.
just can
But
go
I
out,
just want
verify
to
it.
clarify, you are not going to see the AC unit or the fence on that property
Because it's
because
on
it's
the-
not on that property, right?
So, the bottom line is that, right now I have public speaking out
Mhm.
and against this application, although the things that she's bringing up aren't necessarily germane, but you have,
Mhm.
her concern is that should we grant this, will it get worse? And she doesn't, understanding her concerns. I would like maybe see the applicant, have a conversation with them and see if we can
Yes.
mitigate some of this.
I've been trying for over 2 years. I have text.
No one's questioning,
Yeah.
no one's questioning your
Yeah.
integrity, I have to respond to what's in
Absolutely.
front of
Mr.
us.
Albano wants to be a good neighbor, and he and I will make every effort to work that out and/or remove the objects from the neighboring property.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak on this application? Please come forward. Mr. Albano, if you mind taking a
Thank
seat back in here. Come forward, sir.
Speaker's Alley. There's a walk. That's there. And it's a patio.
Dan, can you grab those plans and give them to Cindy? Thank you. Sir, have a seat.
Okay.
What, I'm sorry,
I'm a town resident and I have a lease on the bakery. I am the owner of
Okay,
the bakery.
that's
That's
what I wanted to
located at
hear. Yep.
128 East Main Street.
Yep, okay.
And I just wanted to submit some pictures
Sure.
of the right of way that seems like it was just put
Dan,
in.
can you grab those from me? Dan,
okay,
can you
hands
grab them
there.
and give them to us?
Yeah, it's just some pictures of the walkway that's being used by the tenants that are in the back that are walking across Danford's property I have a lease on, where Goose Trap is and all my equipment is. This one to have a picture of where the actual fence starts on the
Okay.
back of the building,
Great.
and showing the existing alleyway in between the buildings where the equipment is. And there was a staircase in the back, but I guess during the construction of this building, they were removed. So there was a staircase, but that was knocked out
Okay.
during the construction of the of 124, 126. And there's just one more picture, just showing the fence impeding, just clearly on the property. And that's all on Danford's property, which is 128 East Main Street. And it's being
And
used by
what address are you in your bakery?
128 East Main
You're
Street,
in-
Suite A.
Okay,
is the
so you're in
address.
there, okay.
He's the lower level, like
Yeah,
at the
yeah.
bottom of Baker's Alley.
Yep, okay.
Where my grease trap is and all the equipment is.
All right, excellent. Thank you.
Okay.
Any other questions? Thank you.
No, that's it.
All right, so-
Thank you.
Ma'am, sure, come on forward.
There are other properties that are on East Main that do have an egress through the retaining wall down into the parking lot. I know there's at least one other, I think it might be next to Hair Lash Brow.
Okay.
But there are other people that have made an egress for, because there's an apartment right back there
Mhm.
as well. And there's like, they've just built out the brick to maintain the retention wall. So there are other options of being able to get out the back of the properties. That's all.
Excellent, thank you.
Thanks.
Cindy, we're gonna make that the next exhibit, please, those pictures. Is there anyone else who'd like to speak on this application? Going once, going twice. Does anyone else from the board have any other questions or comments? You want, Dan?
I was gonna take a picture from.
And Amy, do you have any closing comments? I'm gonna tell you now, it's gonna be my recommendation that we hold over this hearing. We've got a few issues we gotta clear up,
Mhm.
but.
I agree. I mean, while I do believe that these are more civil matters than zoning matters, I do understand the, board's concern. And I would also like to, have the opportunity to go to the property and take a look. I would also like Mr. Albano to have the opportunity to speak to the powers that be at Danford's to have his discussions. But either way, we are more than willing to remedy this. So if the board would like to hold it, we're obviously
We're
agreeable.
gonna hold it open until the September 25th hearing.
Okay.
So I'm gonna make a motion that we hold open this hearing until September 25th. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carried. Thank you, everyone. Yeah. We're gonna take a 5-minute and then we're gonna go into number 3. Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Albano. Yep. Thank you. Wise advice. No laughing down there, by the way. Oh, come on, Jermaine, come on, come into the application. All right. Anybody know who these two guys are from Jimber? You know who these two guys are from Jimber? Who is it? Yeah. Oh, that's, I didn't, oh. Oh. Okay. I was just asking who they were. I don't want to date them. I was asking who they were. I don't want to date them. Yes. Was he? I knew they looked familiar. Yeah. Yeah. I was just trying to figure out if I owed the money or something. You don't know the bet. Look at you. Fuck you both. Fuck you both. Fuck you both. You both. We gotta get through this day. Yes. You're lucky. All right. Amy, you ready for number 3? All right, the third application on tonight's agenda is 417 East Main Street. Appeal number ZB-4-24. Suffolk County Tax Map number 206-12-10-1 and 2.2. Zoning C1 Central Commercial District. Location 417 East Main Street, existing 3-story building in the historic district. Property owner is Pietro Perillo. Applicant's Pietro Perillo. Contact is Woodhull Expediting, care of Amy DeVito. Description, proposed mixed-use apartment. Public hearing to be reopened. The proposed requires the following variance to the Incorporated Village of Port Jefferson. Section 250, attachment to bulk and parking regulations for non-residential, floor area ratio. 2 require where 2.2 is requested. So for those who do not know, this hearing was closed on May 22nd of 2025. Since then, new information has come to the board. There has been some discoveries about variances, current states that we'd like to include into the public hearing. So I'm going to make a motion that we reopen the hearing on 415-417 East Main Street. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Amy, just state your name for the record.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. Amy DeVito, Woodhull Expediting with offices at 800 Veterans Memorial Highway, Hauppauge, New York. I want to first start by thanking the board for reopening this hearing to give us the opportunity to do some housekeeping and sort it all out. So with that said, we did sort it out. I was able to resubmit an application with the proper ownership for each lot, which also included both different lots. We also provided copies of the most recent recorded deeds for the board to see, as well as staff, which would then show the current owners, as well as the corporate documents allowing Pietro Perillo to sign on behalf of the corporations. So with that said, I guess because we have, reviewed this file so many times, you guys, us, and staff, we have now discovered that the only variance needed is the FAR of 2.2 instead of the permissible 2. We are proposing a mixed-use building, so there will be retail on the first floor and then apartments on the second and third floor. I was not present for the last meeting as I had other meetings scheduled, but
Keep going.
oh, I thought you were telling me to come up there. I was
trying
like,
to get Tom's time.
so I wasn't present for the previous meeting because I had other hearings scheduled. But from what I understand, one of the board's concerns was the violation, which I guess we all assumed existed, for the opening of the doorways between the two buildings. So with that said, it came to our attention by reviewing the neighbor's attorney's, I guess, testimony that there was actually a CO for the openings from, well, I'll just read it off of Tom's, it was you, right? That did this? Yeah. Tom's memo. So there was a CO issued from July 13th, 1984 for 2 new door openings, which was granted to Rafael Perillo. This was the work associated with permit number 1454, and it connected 415 East Main Street to the adjoining building. It connected 415 East Main Street to the adjoining building, 417 East Main Street on the second and third levels, and provided a new interior stair toward the rear of 415. The properties were not merged at that time.
Hold that thought. Tom, just state your name and for the record.
Tom Borowski, consultant with JRH, Holtzmacher.
Can you slide that microphone over to you?
Oh, sorry.
Tom, can you just confirm that at the last time there was a public hearing?
Yes.
We were going to possibly condition, or a condition of approval would be remedying this violation. Can you confirm that the CO that's mentioned by Amy addresses that issue?
Yeah, it didn't show up in the initial property history search that we did. It did not show up in the initial property history search that we did, but we were able to confirm that that CO now does exist.
Okay.
So the violation has been satisfied.
Okay. All right. So Amy, continue. Tom, don't go anywhere.
So, really, in short, I mean, I think we've discussed many different things about this property in the previous hearings, but being that we now only need one variance, I'll focus on that. So we are requesting 2.2, where 2 is required. The existing FAR of the building as it sits today is actually 2.13. So we are asking for a de minimis request in raising the FAR to 2.2. Again, we are trying to repurpose this building to better the community, and I'm happy to answer any questions the board may have.
All right. Tom, just walk us through, give us the executive summary of where we started and how we went from 3
Right,
variances
yeah.
to 2.
So the initial,
Let's-
the initial building was represented as a standalone apartment. And this code is very specific. When you have a freestanding apartment, that certain criteria needs to be met. Once it was discovered that that was not the case, and in fact, this is a mixed-use, going to be a mixed-use building with retail on the main level and apartments on the upper level, those variances no longer apply towards this project. So we removed the one with the frontage on Main Street for a freestanding apartment building, and we removed, what was the other one?
40,000.
40
Lot
Oh,
area.
the lot size of 40,000 square feet, correct.
And Tom, just go over with us the revised application that was submitted by Amy and her client.
Right,
The most
so-
recent version.
Yeah, so that we got clarification on the ownership of both properties. Both properties are listed on this. One is 417 and one is 415. I do have a recommendation in there as this does move forward and into planning that the lots be merged as part of the planning process and then approval. And at that point, it should be submitted to Suffolk County Real Properties with the address clarified and the property tax map updated.
So, and I'm just really doing this for the record, just
Yes.
because it's been a long
I know.
record. The applicant is seeking a mixed use for this site for 415.
It is a mixed use, and they're continuing with that mixed use. The original mixed use was for, my understanding, was retail on the main level, and they had office on the upper
Right.
2 levels.
Right.
So the mixed use is now going to be changed from retail on the main level and apartment on the upper 2
Okay.
levels.
So, and that's clarified in the most recent application that they have.
Correct.
And that is what eliminated, we
Yeah.
went from 3 variances to just this one. And the one variance that they're looking for, the increase in the FAR is strictly related to the enclosed staircase, which is a fire.
It's
Right.
an egress requirement for the state building code.
Right, okay, so it wasn't for any
Additional
luxury or anything.
Correct.
It was more of to meet a requirement that would be put on them by the state building code and or the fire marshal.
That's correct.
Does anybody have any questions or comments for the applicant?
And the calculation for the FAR is based on the square footage of the 2 buildings.
Correct.
Hence the stipulation in them needing to merge the 2 buildings
Well,
into one.
Through the course of the process of the application, the buildings will be merged, but more importantly, the properties need to be merged. That needs to be done during the planning portion. When it gets to the building portion and merging the properties, again, yes, for the purpose of zoning and calculations on that, that is correct. But all the other building code items will need to be addressed at that time.
Yes, we're just looking because there's been confusion throughout this whole process that we're
But yes,
looking
it is
now
both
to
buildings.
grant a variance based on an FAR.
It is for both.
But it's based on a calculation of 2 buildings that are to be merged as one. So the FAR calculation is based on 1 building.
No, Yes,
The final result
yes,
being 1
yes.
Amy, your clients are okay with, or shouldn't say okay, are aware that there is no moving forward without them merging these buildings, because I'm going to require it. Rephrase it. The board is going to require it, and I'm sure the planning board is going to require it.
Yes, they're willing to merge the lots. Absolutely. That's not an issue.
Questions or comments from the board? I don't know how many more questions there could be, but.
We're really beating this one to death.
Tom, do you have any other questions or comments or anything the board would need to, do you see any other conditions? I know when the hearing was still open, we were talking about the condition for remedying a violation that was there.
Correct, yeah. So as the violation that we were presented with, and at that time, the project history did not show the CO, that has been now satisfied with the look within the files that we have at the village.
Okay.
To clarify that opening does exist and has been CO'd.
Okay, so we've remedied that issue there.
Correct.
Okay.
Any decision rendered would be made against both lots as stated in the application, correct?
Correct.
Would be adjoining our decision to simply one lot over the other?
No, it would be both, because right now it's represented as two lots
On one application.
on one application.
Any other questions or comments from the board? I'm going to open it up to the public. Is there anyone from the public that would like to speak on this application? Going once, come forward, sir. Please feel. Have a seat, sir. Just state your name and address for the record when you sit down.
Thomas Paraglia. Address is 407 East Main Street.
I'm sorry,
407 East Main Street.
407 East Main Street. Okay. Where are you relative to this property, if you don't mind me asking? Are you
Right next door.
next door? Okay. Are you
So-
the post office?
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm going to have to seek counsel on the FAR, what we talked about, how joining. I'm sorry? I'm going to seek counsel on the FAR, on what was just discussed regarding the floor area ratio,
Okay.
and discuss that with him and see if that is correct, because I think there was a discrepancy on creating them on two separate buildings, and now they're one building.
Okay.
Correct. All right, so I guess the question here is, how are you going to join these two lots? One of them has an easement and one does not. We just listened to last applicant talk about right as a usage and how one
Right.
able to use another lot.
Okay.
These lots cannot be joined. 417 has the easement, 415 does not. Clearly, the easement was given in 1973.
And what does the easement give them right to? Cross your
17.
17. And what does it give? What does the easement do? Give right to cross your property?
No, it just gives an egress.
Okay.
Exit only on the exit portion. In 1965, the post office building was giving a building permit, and it was a one-way driveway. It's been like that since 1965. So entering that building from the easement that's granted is not possible. You cannot go down a one-way street. We have the U.S. Post Office exiting that building 24/7. As per my lease, they have to exit the building 24/7.
And they're exiting onto Main Street. They're
That is
coming
correct.
in off of East and out. onto Main.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. As you can see, the entrance on East Main Street. You follow.
What'd you do, Paul? There we go.
Can you, I guess, bring
Can
that
you
in a
blow
little
it up a little bit? Maybe come in a little-
Perfect. So you see the entrance on East Main Street,
Yep.
and you see the arrows go across.
Mhm.
And you
That's
see
the lot
that
that was just paved, am I correct?
that was correct.
Okay.
So as you go out to Main Street, can we keep going forward? So-
Parker, just go, raise that up.
No,
Go
other way.
up. Other way.
Yep, keep
There
going.
you go.
Yep, there you go. See how you just exit to East Main
Yep.
Street, and there's the arrow at the exit right at Main Street, right?
Mhm.
So that's only 12 feet wide, at most.
Okay.
So this does not give them rights to go down a one-way street. I was, as per code, as per village code, I was told to put a do not enter sign at the exit. So this is clearly, it was designed for a egress only at the section of 417, which is right around the area of that arrow. That's where they exit. The easement comes, that's it. That's basically the easement, goes from the building back towards the area. Does not give them right to use East Main Street or any of the parking. They can't back into a spot. They can't use the dumpster. They can't do anything with it. So that's why I'm confused. How do you merge two lots? Does New York State allow a lot to merge onto another lot without permission? I'm not sure about that. I will seek counsel on that also. Right, 415 is going to be burning in 407's easement, right? I mean, how is that building going to have an egress?
I can't give you an answer to that. I'm going to defer to council and to staff on that. I think we're going to have to look into that. I'll ask Jim Burke and Tom because that's a good question. Your easement is only for one of the buildings. I'm sorry. Dan, do you want to come forward and say something? Or do you have something to add?
No,
Jim?
take a look at the easements.
For the record, it's Jim Burke. Yep.
We'd have to take a look at whatever easements are being mentioned here.
Sir, could you would you provide copies to
Absolutely, we
Dan?
have given, John
Dan?
Weaver has given.
Okay, do you have copies of the easement? You do, okay.
Yes.
I don't know if we have I know we have the map. We
Okay.
can get the legal description of the easement.
No problem.
Okay.
If you could can you bring that, oh, I'm sorry.
Dan, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to add one real quick thing. So the only thing is that these technical issues are more so on the planning board side. So any approval that, if the board is to grant an approval, would be specifically just to the variances. But in terms of and any of their approval might, as a condition, I think we recommended that be subject to the planning board's continued review.
So it wouldn't be conditioned on egress?
Well, that's what council is going to tell us before we do anything. I just want to I don't want to put a condition on there that's violating, that creates another problem. So, because we're going to condition it or I'm going to suggest that we condition it subject to the lots being merged, and I'm sure the planning board is going to do the same thing, so.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, the merger of lots,
I'm sorry, hold on, I just want to let him finish, this gentleman, I just want to finish.
So when the easement was granted to 417, if you could bring it up a little closer.
Can you zoom in, Parker?
Can you zoom in to the back the back area? Yep, right there. You see there's a triangle in between the two lots.
Okay.
There's how you see how that lot configuration between, yep, right there. That's correct.
Right, okay.
So that was engineered like that, very specific. So lot 415, which is to the right, does not actually walk through to 17. They don't let them, they will not, that's owned by 407. That arrow where the cursor is right now is owned by 417. That was specifically designed so you cannot use the 415 and 417 do not walk across each other. So when I went through the paving portion, same neighbor did not give me permission to use his property. I could not use their property. So if you go to the cursor to the entrance of East Main Street, I had to move the entrance over. So if you can please move the cursor to, yes, right to East Main Street, right. So that entrance that entrance at East Main Street used to be joining on 407 and 405. Now, that owner, the applicant of all those three buildings did not allow us to use their property, did not agree to it. They said, no, we didn't agree to an agreement. We did not have an agreement with them. So I had to have my own entrance, and the village had granted me a curb cut, an ingress. And I do not, again, as I exit, there's no parking stalls, there's nothing on their property. It was not given to them. They did not allow me to use their property.
Put the lot lines up instead of the aerial for a second. It's hard to understand.
Parker, slide that up a little bit more. There you go, good.
Click on 407. Thank you.
Amy, do you, sir, are you done? I'm sorry, I don't want to.
Well, I guess the question here is they need to be redesigned by architect on the how those two buildings can be merged and how those two buildings could just use their property.
Okay.
A standalone property. That can be done. They can merge them. They can drop the easement on 417, can just drop the easement, relinquish the easement, and those two buildings could easily be merged. And they redesign so they can just use the entrance, have an egress on that portion of the building. One last thing on the application. It shows 417 and 415, they're swapped. If you go to page, I'll show you that page. It is SP1.
The application?
Yes, please. It shows that 415 and 417 addresses on the application are not in the correct location. 415 East Main Street is next to 407.
Can you bring up the application, Parker?
So it's kind of, yes, SP1. It's kind of confusing how it was done. So when you're looking at the application, you'll say, well, 417 is next to 407. Well, no, it's not.
No,
It's
415.
415 is correct.
Right.
So 417 has the easement, not 415. So as you're looking at it, you bring that right there. You can see it's 417 and then 415. That is not correct. It's the opposite.
Okay, so it's on the survey, looks like.
Correct.
Site plan,
Yep.
okay. Okay, we'll make that correction. Thank you for pointing that out to us.
But it gets confusing.
Yes, I agree with that 100%. Thank you for,
So when I was, as per easement, created very specific rules of law. So the 415 clearly does not have that easement to use Colatasi family and the post office building lot. Also the dumpster pad. So if you look at the dumpster pad out, it shows there, it's showing the gate opening out into the driveway.
Parker, slide that up, please. Other way. Thank you.
It shows the gate opening into the driveway. That driveway right now is actually used. So when that gate opens up, it's gonna get smacked.
Okay.
It's gonna be in the driveway.
All right.
Again, that's what the easement says. It says driveway easement. It does not say access. It just gives them an exit. The exit was right where the driveway easement used to be, an exit there, and they kind of, when they, I guess, wanted a construction portion of the project, whenever they, maybe in the 80s, I'm not sure, but it was straight up. It did not exit at the doorway at Main Street. It was on the opposite side, so that's why the easement was given for egress, and it was egress only. I guess that's all I have to say.
Excellent. Thank you, sir.
You.
Gave us a lot of information. Thank you. Amy?
Mr. Chairman, I'm looking at the meets and bounds of the deed, which describes the easement, and it is called a driveway easement, which to me indicates driveway for a car to drive on. That has nothing to do with walking out of a building for egress. Moreover, I too agree with Dan that this is a planning board issue, not a zoning board issue. This will also have zero bearing effect on merging the lots. The tax assessor and real property of Suffolk County do not take into consideration egress when a lot request to merge is put before them. So we could merge the lots. It will be up to, Mr. Perillo and his counsel to reach out to counsel for the neighboring parcel to discuss whatever easements need to be redesigned. Hopefully they're willing to work with us, as this is a betterment for the community. This particular conversation has come up now every single time we've been before you.
Yeah.
And I think we can all concur that this is not a zoning issue. It is a planning issue and a civil matter. With that said, I would ask that the board would close the hearing and make a decision based on what we've presented today, and we will handle the easement situation between council and with the planning board.
Any other questions or comments? So I'm sorry, any questions, comments? I don't have a problem closing the hearing. We have the 62 days required, which will start a fresh clock. If the board sees to close, we agree to close the hearing, I would recommend that, or request that maybe either Dan, Tom, and Jim just give us some clarity on this. And then based on that, the board will make a decision.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm going to make a motion. One last question. Is there anybody from the public that wants to talk? I understand. I just see the applicant here. Okay, that being said, I'm going to make a motion that we close the hearing. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good night, everybody.
At least we closed one hearing. Jim, quick question for you before you walk away.
Yeah, Mr. Big Shot over there.
Yeah.
On a nice meeting there.
Tough words for a guy in pink pants, all right? I'm just telling you now, all right?
You're just jealous.
You've been working at the Hamptons too long, right? Yes, sir.
There's salmon.
Salmon. Okay. That's not helping his argument. I'm just telling you that now.
after him. You must know it's Nantucket Red.
Oh, yeah, well, it's okay.
It's Nantucket Red.
for
Nantucket Red. Listen, I'm metrosexual. I can get away with it, okay? What's your opinion about the easement?
I have to look at that. I
Well,
was trying to figure out why it wouldn't impact anything.
Let me ask this, does it stop us from making a decision?
Especially if we make it conditional on merging the properties.
Well, that,
And quite frankly, Suffolk County and Town of Brookhaven have merged endless amounts of properties with
not really-
easements.
the merging's not the problem to me, it's just, does this easement cause us?
Not for you.
All right.
Planning
Not a
board.
Florida.
So under the advice of counsel in questionable past.
In Nantucket Red.
In Nantucket Red past.
Oh, wow.
We will, we can move forward if we want to make a decision tonight. Cindy, we're all good, right? We don't have anything outstanding with them, like with this application, we're all good, right? Could you send them a letter and have a correct their site plan, which?
That's simple enough. Yeah.
I know, but I mean, come on, this is like engineering 101. Get the addresses right the first. You've only
Get your
done this, like,
application right the first time.
Right.
This is the least of their
Right,
problems
this is
through
it.
this whole
So-
process.
Without beating this horse to death, and I'm not speaking for the handsome gentleman to my right here, but I don't have a problem approving this. I mean, it sounds like the FAR is strictly related to meeting the fire code and or building code.
It's small, it's de minimis in nature.
Yeah.
You know, it's.
Took my word. I was going,
Yeah.
yes,
Since we're not meeting in August, 62 days was
Right.
September 24th.
okay. So that being,
Well, we make
so
it
that
right.
being said, I'm gonna make a motion that we approve the variance conditioned on the fact that they merged lots.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna have to be done during the planning board.
Well-
And I put that in.
Okay. I know it's gonna, I'm just gonna
Yeah.
throw it in there anyway, but
You know, we have an
so close. Close, good. I'm with you over there. Say it.
This application may still not be ripe I understand we have the ability to condition something, but if we do that, okay, we now leave the neighboring party who has made the record, here, in a different position. If we deny the applicant for lack of being ripe, commit first, merge your lot, then come to us and tell us the mathematics based on what is.
But they
What
meet,
is.
they meet the calculations based upon what is,
Yes,
right?
if
They
they-
just added two together and
They did.
so then why would we do that?
Because if we deny it for the lack of, first of all, we're gonna make this, we are gonna render a decision on those tax map IDs. Okay? And even though you subject to the merging, which it will be issued a new tax map ID at that point, somebody would be able to research and come to the conclusion that yes, this decision does in fact
Yeah, but why would I
apply.
merge the lots first, get denied, and now,
the thing with the
and now
merging-
be able,
No,
not be able
merge
to
the
back?
lots
Merging the
first.
lots does not change the FAR calculation for what the application
Right.
is presented.
Right.
But it changes the procedural commitment to this, and when,
but
when next door
But that's not what they're
objects,
here for, right?
Well, I'm not
well, they're
here-
not right.
Listen, they pay this guy enough money to wear Nantucket red pants that he
They're
will
not
defend
right.
us, he will defend us till the cows come home.
I think actually it finally is right. I
You do.
think that we have gone through this. They had incomplete applications. They had applied for things that were not necessary.
they couldn't
They
prove their standing
had-
either.
Well, they were applying for a building use that was not what they were actually going to use for. So they finally did their research. They finally got themselves in line with what is to be proposed for the use.
Right.
And it's come down to really the FAR
Well, with,
is,
and with that being said, with a lot of shepherding from this board and staff.
The standing was first.
I get it,
Yeah.
but they did it.
Yeah, 100%.
They've now met the requirements. They've now, with the exception of the site plan having incorrect address on each building, they finally have their application clear, concise, appropriate use, appropriate calculations, and have come down to realizing they only need one variance, and the variance is not substantial, and it is not for living space. It's for an emergency egress. And it's gonna be based on the legal merging of the two lots. I get your position in wanting them to make the commitment prior to the issuance of the variance, but,
Yeah, okay. So
they
you think it's
stated
right.
on the record 2 meetings ago that they weren't going to do that mergence if they were not given the variance, because it was prohibitive of the then future use if they were being, for the change.
Jim, it runs with the land, right? When any decision we're gonna make, yes, no, not the easement, our decision subject to the that will continue to run with the land, right? That decision. Even though that decision is contingent on something merging, those decisions will be made upon those two tax map IDs, as in the application, whether they merge it or not. Though our decision stays with them,
But let me
right?
ask you
Is
this
that is that true? Right. So let's say they never merge, they never do anything, we never see them again, but our decision was made subject to that merger. They go away. They sell.
What do they get out of that by getting an FAR that's so minor? Because that's all we're approving is an FAR. What do they get?
No, I totally agree.
What's the get?
Nothing.
What's the? Let me rephrase.
Yeah.
What's the risk for the village that if we approve this and then they decide, we're not going to do anything, we just want to let them sit there and rot?
But I want to see.
What's the FAR get them? It
Can
doesn't-
we further?
Right, but
that's
there's no
right.
but his thing is that if we issue this,
What are we granting them anyway?
if we issue this and then they stop, they never do another thing.
Right.
So now they got this FAR. It's not like we've given them a variance on you can build 10,000 square feet
No, I
or,
know, I agree, but it would, so my question is, it would follow both tax maps.
Yeah.
Right? And downstream, that decision is sold with that land, right? We can't further condition it on not only them merging, but them merging it. Them.
Well,
Them, not the downstream
well,
owner.
they're never
Understand?
gonna be able to go any further. When they show up at the planning board, the first thing the planning board's gonna say is, I have a recommendation here from Tom and staff and everyone else that says, before we can even talk to you and show us a merger letter.
Okay,
Or-
so what what his position
I have a
is
question.
that,
I don't know. I don't. I
okay,
have a- I
so
wanna know,
what
can
his
I
question
double
is,
layer that cake.
would you be agreeable to this FAR based on two contingencies, one being the merging of the property and two being the FAR approval being exclusive only to the Perillo ownership,
The
The
current ownership,
applicant,
I think
to the
that's.
current ownership,
Right.
current applicants.
To the applicant.
And ownership, I
Right.
would put both in there.
This doesn't live forever
Yeah.
on those two lots.
Can
see?
we do that, Jim?
I don't know.
Because if it runs with the land, you can't, the land can change ownership to 52.
What are they doing with the plans?
They got.
Even if they never build it and they say, okay, we're gonna keep the building separate.
They're changing their use from office to
Yeah, but do you think,
apartment.
Yeah, yeah.
what I'm trying to show is that the effect of this, even though conditioned, is now branded to those lots forever.
But, so who cares?
But
Yeah,
again,
Like, what does
What
that
is,
do?
what's
What is the
So,
concern
so,
of that?
so, what, so then deny them, because we're not giving them anything anyway, and they're not even
But we are
But
giving
we are giving them.
We
We're-
have to
we're
give, they
increasing it from
need this to.
$2.
To get their planning.
I don't know if this makes you feel any better, but if the ZBA approval is not diligently sought after or diligently
I don't think,
word?
no one,
Diligently
I don't think that, I don't think the board can be,
pursued,
I don't think
it
the-
expires.
Yes, 24 months.
oh.
Yeah.
So if they don't diligently pursue.
So if they just let it sit for 20, if they let it sit and 3 years later they say, okay, I got the FAR, he's gonna turn around and tell them, no, you don't.
No.
You gotta come back in front of the
ZBA
board.
expired. ZBA approval expired.
Oh, council.
Oh, look, wow,
He was
can you see them
understanding.
spinning?
Somebody just mark the date.
Can you see,
Just
can you see the wheel spinning?
That's our code.
That's our code.
Huntington uses that too. I just got an approval when I was told actually, I think I got 12 months to submit an application.
Pulling it up.
Just the name application. Interesting. I don't know.
Permit.
Jim, is
Okay.
that, Jim, is that
This
true?
is very interesting.
Before the zoning board, because the planning board said,
It's a referral, yes.
make the zoning board.
Well, let's see if it's.
The zoning board approval is.
If it has an
subject to the
expiration date and
merger
they don't
and
go for
subject
their
to
application, then
Yeah, then they have to move
You're
it.
satisfied.
I don't know. I have to.
Come on,
It's interesting.
come on. Say it, say it.
It's very interesting that it would
that you'd be
expire.
satisfied.
Oh, God, now you really set the bar high.
No, no, I just asked the question. I don't have
God.
a position yet. But when I come back, you're all screwed. So,
I have new respect for your wife. I really do. She's got to have a direct line to heaven right after
She
she.
is an angel.
Yes, yes.
it's amazing woman. Social worker. So.
Not quite.
No, we're both advocates.
Far from it.
Both advocates.
She has angel wings. You have horns.
So, say it.
So I want to say what it says. So 250J. It goes less construction.
Whose code is this?
This is under the procedure of the zoning board.
Village-
It's right up there.
Village of Port Jefferson.
Port Jefferson
Port Jefferson.
code.
It's Port Jefferson code for the specific for the zoning board. Read it.
That's construction, that's not even.
I don't know, guys.
Permit.
I would get this off your screen quick.
Once construction is commenced, diligently pursued.
Okay, listen,
So that's
guys. Decisions run with the land. First thing they told me, okay? It goes on and on. Can we double layer?
All right, listen, you beat that horse to death, okay?
Yeah,
You just,
if-
you-
I'm gonna
yeah.
make a motion. Do you guys wanna vote?
Yep.
Good. I got a vote for you.
oh okay they can ask for it.
What's that?
I have a vote. I'm ready to vote.
Okay.
Okay,
Ready?
I make a motion that pending the correction of the site plan application they submitted, that we approve the variance for, reading this right? Anything here? Bulk and parking regulations for non-resident floor area, that the floor area ratio of 2 required and 2.2 requested be granted, subject to the lots being merged. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Nay.
All right.
Yeah, that was easy.
I don't think there's anything to discuss on the other 2 applications until.
We held them
right now,
both
huh?
over,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, they're both open still.
They're both open.
Second was Dan.
Do we run into time issues with August? I mean, yeah, right?
No, we're not meeting till
You said the
September.
date,
No
so
meeting in
it's-
August. No meeting in August.
We held them open, so. No, you held them open until September, so that.
Oh,
date-
we
Yeah.
referenced
Yeah.
September,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, you said the
Yeah,
date,
yeah,
so
yeah.
we're all-
We held them open till our next hearing.
September
Right,
25th. was
right,
the
right.
next-
Does anybody want to